My name is Dwayne Cole, and I have been a barber since 1990, but I've been a barber at this shop since 2003. Purchased this shop on my birthday. I had gone through high school with really an art focus and nothing else, and didn't really have a clue as to really what I wanted to do in life, which most teenagers coming out of high school have that same issue. And so I found myself with 3 jobs, no life, wasn't making enough money to survive, frustrated. I tried college a few times, liberal arts degrees that a few of them that didn't work out. And I come from a family of barbers, and I happened to be sitting in the barbershop waiting for a haircut, and it was an epiphany because I was thinking to myself, Dwayne, what do you want to do? You can't be working 3 jobs for the rest of your life. You got no life. And so I decided I needed one job where I could make money, where I could have fun, and I could do my work with my hands. I'm an interactive type of worker. And it just hit me right in my face that, hey, look, here's my family. They're just telling jokes, making money, managing their schedule. They get to do whatever they want to do, take as long a lunch break as they want. They get to come into work whenever they want. They get to leave whenever they want. And they work with their hands. And all of a sudden I was thinking, that's the job I want. So I made it known to my family that I wanted to be a barber, wanted to go to barber school. My dad, who is a barber, tried to talk me out of it. He said, you don't want to do that. I think it was more of a motivational factor of if I tell him, no, you don't want to do that, he will, in defiance, do it anyway, which is exactly what happened. And my grandfather, who was also a barber, told me that, you know, to be a barber, all you got to have is a strong back and a weak mind. I thought that was kind of stupid, but that was what he told me. And my uncle thought it was the greatest thing ever. He was also a barber there. And, I finished school in exactly 10 months. I took 2 days off of school the entire 10 months. And started work, and it was like a duck going to water. Fully enjoyed it and still do to this day. My least favorite part of being a barber is meeting the absolutely astronomical expectations of new parents. But I do try to cater, and you know, when you have a 10-month-old child, we're not going to be able to make him look like Brad Pitt. I will try my hardest. But beyond that, paying taxes. Those are the 2 things I don't like. As a child, you were always good. You listened, and you didn't, you know, you were my best client, so it was a lot of fun. Inmates in jail. Well, obviously I'm flooded with memories of such as I pause. Yeah, that's an interesting situation. I've oftentimes had to meet that request to go and cut an inmate's hair. Half of the time it's a client that's just, you know, got herself in some trouble. The other half of the time it's people I don't even know at all. And someone has just called around to different shops to try to get somebody to go and cut their child's hair, their brother's hair, whatever. And so generally you'll make a few phone calls, and I have to talk to the sergeant, and I have to set up an appointment with this particular inmate, and I go down there. Of course, I'm vetted. I can take nothing in there whatsoever except for, you know, some minimal amount of tools. And sometimes, you know, The bailiff, which would be the individual in the room with us, is of a good attitude, generally. But now there are some that want to play like they're an FBI agent, and they're just a bailiff. So, you know, people have their things, and but generally good experiences. Just, I think it was the one time where I went and cut a gang member's hair, and I didn't know that they were a gang member until I saw it in the paper where they were being extradited. That made me feel a little uneasy, you know, knowing that I'd cut the hands of a MS-13, you know, murdering gang member. That was kind of, you know, you just gotta swallow it down and go to the next day. So. Cutting hair on somebody that is cold as ice and laying on their back on a table is difficult. It's difficult. Much more difficult when they are a friend or a family member. That can be tough, because it's generally a client that I have had for a lot of years. You know, it being a barber, you see these things play out a lot of times. You know, most of the time, it comes from a long life of bad health. And it's not generally something that happens just kind of out of the blue, where it catches you off guard. But I've had to do that as well, where I, you know, saw the person a month earlier, and now they're, you know, they're on the table. They're younger than me, and they're in need of just, you know, getting cleaned up. So it's not that emotional part of it. You just have to work through. My dad, David Cole, works at Village Barbershop.
My name is David Leslie. Okay, I'm the sole owner proprietor of Village Barbershop in Gastonia. I have been working here for 55 years. Don't plan on retiring. You know, I've been doing this for so long, I've got about 400 regular clientele, and it's become almost family. You know, I have clients that have been with me the whole time, the whole 55 years. I'm in fourth generation now in most of those families. So yeah, I love my people. That's why I don't think I'll ever retire. I couldn't quit. I would want to know what's going on with all of my family.
My favorite part of being a barber is I get to meet all kinds of people and have all kinds of connections. If you need a plumber, I know 10 of them. If you need a banker, I know 10 of them. And I'm on first name basis with every single one of my clientele, and a new customer becomes a new friend on the first time, he's on the very first visit. So I'm an open person. I like to make connections, and I make it known to my clientele that they are part of my circle, and if they need something, just reach out, because if I can help, I will. So that's one of my favorite parts of being a barber. Plus, even though I'm really more introverted, I do have an extroverted side that likes to have fun. So it gives me an opportunity to talk and carry on and make friendships and tell stories and all types of things like that. Things that most people probably don't get to do in their job. So that keeps me young, and that's the part I like. My grandfather, Buck Cole, opened Village Barbershop in 1964 and worked there until 1991.
He was, you know, I spent a lot of time at the barbershops and then the 3 or 4 different places that he worked, you know, and when he opened this shop, you know, that was in 1964. I came here in '69. So in 1964, my job was keeping this place clean, you know. he instructed me, helped me out a lot, you know, criticized me. That's what daddies do, don't they? Sometimes.
He was, you know, born in 26, depression baby, came up rough. The story I was always told was that they were running moonshine in Bessemer City is where the gas ran out in the car, and that's where they put their roots. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the story is. And so they set up camp in Bessemer and started making a life. He went to the Navy at a very young age. You know, born in 26. I think he was. I think he enlisted in 40 something, 3 or 4, something to that effect. He was actually one of the smarter individuals in the military at the time. He became a cleric. He could read and write. Was a cook, and at the end of the war, he came out and they gave him 2 options. They said, "Okay, everybody, you could be a welder or a barber. Pick your pick." So he chose to be a barber. He didn't want to do welding. He had seen it, you know, and experienced it while he was, you know, in the military, and it's not something he wanted to be a part of. I would imagine that welding in the 40s was probably a lot weirder than it is today, but way more dangerous, I would imagine. He came to Gastonia in '57, was working for a few other barbers, opened up his own shop in 1964. There was a lot of resistance there. Back then they had a barber association that you paid into every month, and they governed how many shops and what haircut prices were and where you could, you know, work and this, that, and another. And he didn't like that too well, so he struck out on his own and decided to open up his own shop. They, of course, absolved the entire association because of his actions. All the other barbers were like, "Well, if Buck can do that, we'll do that too. We don't. What do we need this association for? They don't do anything for us." So it was one of those deals, and but the association had a little power. They called all of the barber supply companies in North Carolina and told them to boycott Buck. Do not sell him anything. Trying to make it hard for him to open up his shop. But, you know, they weren't thinking outside of the box. And Buck was. He went with Atlanta Barber Beauty Supply. They supplied him with everything that he needed, and he opened up his own shop. Now, his dad was a porch barber, you know, so technically, you know, I guess I'm a 4th generation barber. Buck was a very unique individual. He was a jack of all trades. Clearly could do just about anything you could imagine. A true man's man, experienced a lot of really strange things, had a rough upbringing, and met a good woman that kept him on the straight and narrow. So. I had been barbering for, I guess about 12, 13 years. I took a little hiatus from the barber shop, went overseas for a little while, about a year, came back with a fresh slate, like clean as a whistle. What do I want to do? I was broke, I didn't have any bills, I had a car, had staying in Dad's, you know, one of Dad's rooms in his house, and so I decided, you know, I think I'll reach out and do something different. I missed cutting hair. I missed the clientele. I missed the work. I missed the money. I missed the whole aspect of it, you know. And so I decided, well, this is an opportunity for me to learn something new. Maybe go work over here or there, that, and another. And I ended up calling a place called Carmen Salon Spa. And pretty big salon in Charlotte area. And so I went for the interview process, you know, and the first thing they do is they take you through the facility and show you all the different departments of the salon and slash school, because that's where you did a lot of your training. And they took us around, and in that process of searching around, I see this I see this little small, petite, short, dark-haired girl, and she's a CSR, so she's a customer service representative. And she's all kicked up like this on her desk, and she's got her phone, and she's side-eyeing me when I come in the door. And I saw her, and I was like, ooh. And that was my first glimpse at your mother.
Well, your dad has a different story than I have. I remember walking from the front desk back to the CSR area. So he was apparently training with Carmen. And I remember walking by and looking at him and thinking, please God, don't be gay. Because most men in a salon are gay, except for Carmen and maybe one other guy the whole time I worked there. The next time I guess we spoke, and he was sitting in the chair and he was talking to a girl that I worked with named Rebecca, and we were talking about lunch, and I was asking if they wanted me to get them lunch and everything, and he was like, I have no cash right now, and I was like, well, you know, I'll buy your lunch, you can, you know, pay me back, whatever, you know. That was my little kind of in or whatever.
She played it well, and I made it known that I was not looking for a relationship, but she knew I was, somehow.
It just one day just, you know, came to a head. He asked me to go watch a movie at his house with him and, you know, as friends. And I was like, sure, you know, so he kisses me, and I instantly, I'm like, no, wait a minute. We're not gonna do this. And so he was like, oh no, we're not friends anymore. So that's when we started dating, and actually told everyone at work that we had both met someone. And he told people he was dating Lucy, and so I was Lucy. And I was dating Christopher. And so anytime anybody in the workplace would start talking to him about Lucy, I had to leave the room because, yeah, I didn't want to, I wanted to hear about me from him, not, you know, hearsay or whatever, you know, so.
Well, it wasn't long before we were dating and whatnot. As a matter of fact, we were married within the year.
Yeah, so that's how, yeah, that all went about. And then we got married. Gosh, we were friends for 3 to 5 months, and then got married 3 months later. So, yeah, it was kind of quick. And best decision I've ever made.
Good times.